I'm glad I'm in on this one because just of everything that happened, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to talk about. I feel like,
Welcome back to another fun chat where I've invited a few of you to come and have a discussion about the latest episode. We're going to be talking about episode 711, A Hundredweight Stone. This was a really good one, in my opinion, and you'll hear all about it in just a moment. Just remember, if you want to be a part of these discussions, the easiest way to get a hold of me and to make sure that your name is at one of the top of the list for one of the next ones is to write me at katie@katiescornerinspace.com. That is where I check pretty regularly. Every Saturday and Sunday, I go through whatever I've got. And really, it's a first come, first serve, unless you've already been a part of it. You newbies, you get first dibs. And this especially goes for subscribers, members, and of course, frequent commenters. So join us while we chat about 100 Ways Stone.
We don't have to introduce ourselves.
No, these are old hats. Hello, welcome everybody. As you recognize our famous and expert Outlander fans, Diana Markakis and Kathy Slavic. Kathy Slavic, I forgot to thank you in today's video, by the way.
Oh.
Thank you for the heads up on those clips. So many more tomorrow. Oh my gosh.
Well, I was stunned to learn that Sam wasn't climbing Mount Everest. That was that was news.
Just the North Face.
He really gave the impression that he was, So I was kind of blindsided there.
Well, I say he's
but it was
climbing the North Face.
He was going on a different side. Pardon me?
Okay. I said he's climbing it, but he's just not going to summit. He's not going to the very, 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 very tip top.
Just the base camp.
And I didn't know there was a window that you had to follow. I thought, it was a larger window than that. I thought it was like during the summer or something, So I was kind of, I learned a lot today. I learned about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can go onto that website, just if you Google Base Camp Nepal, it'll take you to this whole website that tells all the information about it, the area, the different trails. It tells you cost and kind of what to expect. It tells you the altitude that you're going up to. It was really interesting and looking at it. And then one of the other gals on one of the other pages had actually done the Google Earth search, so you could see the actual trail, that he's hiking. And it's a new trail, apparently. It's one that nobody's ever gone on before. I'm like,
that's now will he go up? Will he go up into a snow line? Will he?
Yeah.
Because it looked like it started out, regular, normal. But I was wondering if he was going up into a snow line,
Yeah, I think the altitude that they're saying he's going up to is 18,000 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is insane. Living here in Colorado. Living here in Colorado, I'm at 6,700 feet or something and then we go up in the mountains and camp and it's 10,000 feet. But you could go up into the mountains when we've been up skiing or even camping, it's almost 12,000 feet. Wow. So you're thinking there's how many more feet he's going to be up at?
Oh gosh! And I remember you're from Colorado, so you. Well,
I'm really from Chicago, but I lived here for 23 years. But you learn a lot. When you live here. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Okay. Well.
But I think that's probably why the trip takes so long is because they do such a gradual walk. And, here you can do a 14er in a day, but if you're not geared to do that, if you get up in that altitude, I mean, you can get really sick, you get disoriented. And that's probably why they take so long to do that trek,
Yeah, exactly. Some two guys just died up in Oregon or something. They fell. Wow. And they don't know where they are, and they just found their gear. And they were going to I forgot what mountain it was, and they were professionals, and they're gone. They said because of avalanches, crevasses, many different things,
Yeah, there's so many circumstances. I mean, the best time to probably, if you're going to do something like that here, is in the summer, but then you have to also start heading up the mountain at 3 a.m, because if you're not off the mountain by noon, then you get lightning and stuff. So you have to get up and you don't want to go up in the winter. That's not ideal. Well,
that's why it's best to go with a professional. And apparently he did. He's with some
Yeah.
kind of company, and he knows what he's doing. He really
Yeah.
I would
does.
think so.
Definitely,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary because
We
I
don't
can
want
tell
anything
you,
to happen. We don't want anything to happen to our poor Sam. Oh
no,
my
definitely
goodness.
not.
No,
Definitely
no,
not.
no, no.
What would Jan do? I don't know what she'd do.
Same, same. I'm like a worried mom. Well, I can tell
Yeah,
you that my
exactly.
both my sons have done 14ers. I never have, just because, with working and the time to go up there.
Yeah.
Both my sons have done it, and my
Uh-huh.
one son, my younger son, he went on this mountain, Mount Bierstead, and after he came back and he told me how narrow it was on this portion he had to go on, he's like, "Mom," he's like, "I had to like go up against the side of the mountain and like slide across." And he's
Oh my
deathly afraid of
God.
heights.
No,
I'm like, "Oh
no.
my God, Kyle." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "I'm not doing that again. Don't worry. Don't worry."
I'm glad.
So
I imagine you were glad you didn't go.
oh
You
my
know,
God, yeah. Yeah, that was
for sure.
a little
Uh,
terrifying. So, I mean,
yeah.
I think he's
So
glad he did it,
yeah.
to kind of uh get over his fear a little bit, but he's like, "Yeah, I won't
Mhm.
be doing that again."
Yeah, that's fair. That's frightening just thinking about it. No, no, no,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
So who wants to talk about a Outlander just for the fun of it?
Well, may I say?
Is that the
May
reason
I
why we
just
came?
may I just say one thing that I'm dying to say.
Sure.
I'm going to start at the very end. I am just amazed. I was at the smile on Claire's face. All that was happening, and all she did was have this like smirk on her face that she was so happy that he was back. She
Uh,
didn't care what happened. She doesn't care if he rested. She was just so happy that he was back. I love that scene at the
yeah.
very, very end.
Even though I think I knew it was coming, my heart literally still leapt out of my chest. I'm like, oh, and of course I'm watching it with my sister-in-law who hasn't read any of the books yet. And she's like, she kind of looked over at me and she at the very end, she's like, wait, she's like, Jamie's not really dead, isn't he? And I'm like, "Mm," and then sure enough, he walked in the door. I'm like, there you have it.
Mhm.
Well, there's another
It was,
season coming. What do you think?
yeah, right,
They're
right.
not going to get rid of those two, that's for
No,
sure.
No.
definitely.
They're
Yeah.
the meat of the whole show, the meat and bones of the whole
Right.
show, you
Yeah. You knew
know.
that wasn't gonna happen.
But that smile on her face, she's such a good actress, and
Yeah.
it was like she wasn't aware of her surroundings. She was just happy that he was back because
Yeah.
all that was going on, there was so much going on there, you know. And
Yeah.
I just loved that part because it spoke a lot, you know.
I think,
It
yeah.
really did.
And I
It's
think, like you said earlier today, too, Katie, she was really like fantastic in this episode. I mean, she really brought a lot of emotions that, nobody ever knows. I mean, when you lose somebody like that, how you're going
Yeah.
to react. I mean, we knew
Mhm.
she freaked out when she thought Jamie was dead in Culloden. And then what would make her
Yeah.
think that, she would just be like, oh, okay, well, he's gone, I mean, no, I mean,
And it
Yeah.
really seemed like he was gone this time. You
yeah,
know, there wasn't much. His luggage was on the ship, and
yeah,
it really did seem like he was gone. So
yeah, there
you can
was,
just feel her grief. You know,
yeah, there was
if we
confirmation.
didn't know what was going to happen, we would have been very sad too. You know, but we knew
I think
it
she
was.
brought it. I think she brought it well enough that I mean, I felt it. I don't know about you guys, but I felt it.
Oh
I
yeah,
really did.
I felt
So
her
yeah,
pain, most definitely,
yeah,
Mm.
especially when she's
and
in there screaming, you know. I
yeah,
mean, there's no
yes,
words. There's literally no
you could
words, just sound of agony.
yeah,
and and when Jamie walked in, the look on Lord John's face, I don't think he was sad that he was, that he had come back, but I think he was just thinking of all the problems it caused that he's back now. You know what I
I,
mean? All the
I
yeah.
things with the rebels and the
But David
redcoats and
was amazing too. He really, I mean, out of all the time we've been watching him in the show, he really
oh,
hasn't had
yes.
have to bring that kind of emotion, other
to the
when
forefront, to the
yeah, right. Except
forefront.
for when Jamie was leaving Hellwater, he hasn't had to
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
portray that much
Mhm.
emotion. And this time he was like, yeah,
Oh, and their conversation in bed was amazing.
That was
That was,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know
that
what?
It
was,
was, yeah,
You liked Claire's look when basically the soldiers are taking her husband away. Well, one of them, and I liked his look the morning after, which just before she's turning over, and he's looking and going, kind of. I mean, it's not like he's smirking. It's just sort of like, well, we did that, you know.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah,
I
like,
wonder.
oh,
Yeah, I wonder if she knows what we did. He's wondering what her reaction was going to be.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Was
That
with
was.
thought
me.
too, like, and going back to like when Jamie was living in the cave, and Mary McNabb came to
Yes.
him, it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same thing where she brought him comfort, although they were both really rip roaring drunk, it seems like.
Right.
But I feel it was like the same
Destroyed.
scenario where they really were trying to kind of comfort each other in a
Well,
I
that's
think that
what.
that's what it
backwards
is. They
kind
were
of way.
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
different
And that's what.
situation though, because he was lonely in the cave and
Hmm.
she knew that, and he was going to be turning himself in. They're both just ripped apart, and the only thing holding themselves together was leading on each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think,
Well,
you know,
yeah, well, what they said was, which was really, she said, he said, you weren't making love to me. And she
yeah,
said,
No.
yeah. And,
neither were
I wasn't,
you. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah, I found that very interesting too. That was really interesting. So yeah, and they were just both great.
Yeah.
John Barry, or what's his name? David Barry. He was
David
amazing.
Barry.
He's a
Yeah.
very good actor too. Has he
Mhm.
been anything else? Has he been in any other shows
Yeah.
too? I've never
Do you know
really
what?
followed that much.
Somebody showed me or told me a good show, and it's on my list, but it's over there, and I don't have my list in front of me. But he was apparently on a British drama, um,
Oh,
period drama. So it looked like it was in the 20s, and I just never got a chance to watch it yet. So that's all I.
Yeah, I haven't seen much else of what he's been in. It might just be a lot of maybe foreign stuff, you know what I mean, that we don't
right.
get. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
we're
lot of stuff
Americans.
is
We're
on.
limited.
right.
Well, well, they have BritBox and
Yeah.
what's the other one called? Acorn. That a
Yeah.
lot of yeah, so a lot of the shows are on those streaming service, and we can get them, but of course you have to pay for them and
Yeah.
everything.
True, true,
Yeah,
true, true.
yeah,
Um,
but
I'm gonna go back to the beginning though. I'm gonna back us up because I know I was talking about it, and Jackie was talking about last week. The wedding rings cracked me up throughout because it was like you could see where Claire was in her situation with how many rings were on her fingers and where they were, because she went from Frank's ring and Jamie's ring to Frank's ring and then Jamie's and John's ring, and it was very all right. Like which ring is going to be on which finger during which scene?
how many
Right.
how many fingers do you have?
Right. But
Exactly.
she's clearly seemed like she had no interest in wearing John's ring at all. Like, ugh, no, I'm not
But
No, but
even.
I
when
respect that she wore it there at the end,
yes,
or not the
Yeah.
end, but at the party.
Right.
she had it on with Jamie's ring when she was
Hmm.
all dressed up and everything,
Yeah,
which
Right.
was in deference to him. She was
Right.
trying to cooperate
yeah,
with him.
Right.
She understood where he was coming from.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
For,
I
for
kudos to her for
appearances,
that.
I would say.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely. That's why she showed
Yeah.
up, was simply for
Mhm.
appearances. At
And
least
that
that's
dress was
what I get from it.
and that dress was beautiful. It
Yeah,
was
it
a
Oh
was.
yeah,
it was a
yeah,
lovely dress. It really
yeah.
was. So and she looked beautiful in it as she always does. So what can I say?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she did. She looked
And then,
beautiful.
um, I mean, we've covered a lot of. We went right into it with Claire and Lord John. I'm gonna skip Jamie here for a minute. We'll come back to it again for you, Diane. I do want to go to um, Buck and Roger's adventure through the.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that that was almost comical, really.
it really was. I
Yeah,
felt all right because they're having a little conversation as they're traveling, just to kind of keep their story going.
Hmm.
Being
yes.
attacked by the farmer was something I either forgot or simply wasn't expecting, because he's just going, "Hey, sir, we just would like some information," and like 2 seconds later, he's got backup.
Hmm.
that
Oh, that's
that
right. That's right. And they hightailed it out of there.
yeah,
I'm
I
wondering,
think yeah. Go ahead.
But what is Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm just saying, I'm wondering, like, when Roger's looking for his dad, and I don't remember in the book, and then I read the novella book too on Roger's story. I'm like, I don't even know if when he comes across his father, does he know what his father even looks like?
Yeah. Is he? Yeah,
I
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
remember.
wondering. Is it
Yeah.
I think
really
he's
his
probably been
father?
there long enough that he's grown a beard, but he hasn't been there for years and years and years. I believe he's been there just for like a month, a couple of
Yeah, right.
months.
Not that long, right? But does
Yeah.
Roger remember what he even looked like?
Yeah.
I,
I'm sure
And
the
and
Reverend
it's
had pictures.
yeah,
and
maybe.
yeah.
I don't
And the way
remember that they said anything in the book, but yeah, their story was kind of funny, that they're kind of going along and, talking
and
about
they
it.
yeah, and they said he never found the body, his father's body, right? It went over and
Right.
he was flying over they don't even know if he made land. He might have just crashed into. They have no idea what
Mhm.
happened to
Well,
them.
in
So
this
it's
on in the show, they said, remember, he wasn't even scheduled to fly. So my guess is he never went in the air. He took a walk,
mhm.
found some stones while he had a gem in his pocket, and and left. And I don't
Oh,
think he was
okay.
scheduled to do any flights. He just
Oh,
disappeared.
okay. That's
Oh,
interesting.
because in the
I mean, they
novella
said they
book,
didn't
the
find
one
his
that's,
plane, so I don't know. I might be mixing it up, but I mean, he wasn't
yeah.
scheduled to do anything. So what? You know what I mean?
Well,
I
do
don't know.
you guys know what happens in the book? Do you
Well, in
guys
the
know?
novella book, the one that's about Roger, I can't remember what it's called. Something green. I don't know. I actually just finished reading it. I thought they did send him up because somebody didn't come or something, and so
Okay.
he had to go. And then he had some mechanical failure and had to land. So where he landed was
Ah,
kind of in the area, and then he started walking, and then that's when he kind
Ah,
of came upon the stones, and then it was like poof, he just
okay.
so
That makes more sense.
Roger will meet his father then.
I
That's
think
going.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, in the book he does. It's not like they're at the end or anything, but
yeah.
they do run into each other. I just don't remember what exactly happens because I wouldn't let myself read it and spoil it again for myself. Um,
Like they're just
now I'm
killing
like,
time right now as they're kind of trotting along here, It's like
Yeah,
they're
exactly. You don't know what they're going to run into.
hmm
And now we find out that Rob isn't even there. Look what he
oh my
did to
gosh,
yeah.
Ray. Wasn't that
It was a
something?
setup.
that was
That was
cool.
kind of
I'm not.
unexpected.
She's having a bad day as it is. Slamming your fingers in the drawers, that just sucks. That's a bad day all by itself.
Yeah,
And she's
right.
wrapping her hand and turns around, and there he is. It's like,
Yeah, I know. That was so weird, wasn't it? There he is standing there like he appeared from nowhere. I thought she'd see him through the window or something because she kept looking out the window.
Mhm.
that
But
makes
I've
sense.
gotten my hand caught in drawers, so that does hurt. I
Yes.
appreciate that. I really do.
And Rob really did turn out to be kind of a snake. It's like, whoa. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
at least we know she has a better chance of finding Jemmy. This she's tough and she'll probably find him. But poor Roger, I don't know what's gonna
yeah.
happen to him. I
No, I
really
think
don't.
she's gained some skills from living in the 18th century.
Yeah,
Well, she
yeah.
can wield a pan.
That's right. Yeah.
That's for sure. She knocked him out. That's right. I forgot about that for
I wouldn't
sure.
doubt that at some point she probably ties them up, and
And
There we
and
go.
you can't always go by the book because the screenwriters don't go by the book. So
Yeah.
yeah.
a lot of times I'll say to my friends who have read the book, they don't know what's happening either. They can only tell you what happened in the book, but not on the show.
Right, right.
So it's interesting. It really is.
Yeah.
See what happens. Nobody
Yeah,
knows what's going to happen.
I think I was watching one of those interviews and then with Meryl, and she said with season 7 as it came on, they weren't sure they were having a season 8 yet. So then they were kind of like cramming all this stuff in the season. So that's why it seemed like some of the episodes were so rushed, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know people were last week. You were saying how rushed. I'm glad it's rushed. I'd rather it be rushed than drawn out too. When I watch shows and everything, it's good editing, and we get the gist. We know what's going on, you know? So I don't care if it's fast. Look at, we even saw that scene between Ian and Rachel again. That was a lovely scene too. Out
Yeah.
in the, where they were out in the woods there or something, and he explained everything to her. That was so beautiful. It
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah.
They both shown again about what great acting there is. You know,
Mhm.
it was good.
Yeah, I have two things about that. One, I like the way they broke it up. Broke it up into what, three separate scenes. One where
Mhm.
he goes, "So
Right.
I've been married,"
Right.
the
Yeah, because
other
I have
one,
something to tell you.
yep,
Yeah.
and then the final one is, "Oh, by the way, I love you," and I do love. I'm really enjoying Izzy's performance. I like the way
Mhm.
she's delivering these lines of, "Well, in fact, Dee never actually proposed."
In point of fact, he never has asked me to marry thee.
She's kind of
Oh, didn't
Yeah,
snarky,
I?
isn't she?
yeah, I
Yeah, she's
love that.
great.
Yes, that was
Like
wonderful. It was.
she appears to be so innocent, and then she like gives them that little jab, like,
Yeah,
"Mm."
exactly. Yeah, I love that. Exactly. That's what she did. Exactly.
And I
Oh,
think
You know,
he
that's
kind of enjoys that. I think Ian kind of enjoys it.
he does
yes.
make a face when he's like, "Oh, didn't I?" I don't
Hmm.
know what the face is. But he's like, "Oh, you
Like,
caught me, did you?
oh,
Okay then." And then when
right.
she says she loves him, he makes almost the same face, but it's more of a puffed up, "Yes, she loves me."
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
I
It's
But
think
kind
they
of like
wrote
a
the movie
really
cute,
well.
did. He really did come clean. You know, he
yeah,
really he told
Yes.
everything. And
Yes.
I thought she was going to be upset about it and say something, but she didn't. She went right along with him, and I think she admired his honesty. I
Well, but
really
is it
did.
her nature though to just kind of be forgiving like that? I think it's her nature of her
Yeah.
I think it's the
culture,
forgiveness, but also the patience to listen to the full story.
right?
Yes.
And she
And,
listened to what not only what he was saying, but how he was feeling when he's telling her, yes, this really hurt him knowing that he wasn't providing his first wife with a family. And
Mm-hmm.
that,
mhm,
I mean, we watched him portray that on screen season 5 and 6. He was hurt. He
mhm,
was ripped apart. And so when he's telling her, I think because of who Rachel is and how what a good actress Izzy is, we could see that she was understanding that. And
mhm,
that's
mhm.
you know,
Yes.
there
Yeah.
there's having some sense, having some understanding, and she's a very understanding person, but I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it has you have to be that understanding to feel for his story. You just
Yeah.
some
Yes.
basic feelings. You can
Yeah,
get
we have to
along.
Yeah.
remember, we always have to remember she's a Quaker,
Mm-hmm.
and they're unique people. And if I may give a spoiler alert, I think my friends were telling me last night that she is thrown out of the Quaker society when
Mm.
she goes with Ian.
Oh,
Now,
maybe.
I think they said that was in the book. Now, I didn't read the book. They did. So maybe, is this true? I'm not sure. I don't want to give any
I
spoiler alerts.
I promise people that they're probably going to get spoilers about the episodes that we've already seen and the episode that we're talking about and maybe the next one. But I don't really feel comfortable revealing any further out than that unless it accidentally slips out. Just because
We
I don't
shall
want to ruin it
see,
for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We shall see.
We shall see. These things may happen, they may not.
Right. Yep.
Um Now, I know a big thing, and I wasn't sure how to bring it up, but I'm just going to say it. Henry and Mercy and how John reacts
Oh,
to the
wow.
proposal. That
Yeah.
is a
Right.
rough one to watch because
I
I mean,
know.
even read their books or not, you're sitting there going, "All right, John, you're going to support him." And
Right.
that is not what happens at all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No. No, I
What
forgot
did
about
you
that part.
I'm not sure what right we as three white women have to say about this, but
Yes.
I'm going to attempt to do it in the best way think I can. Um, what did you think of John's explanation as to why he wouldn't support her? Because he sort of glossed over the color of the skin comment Claire gave and went
Mm-hmm.
straight towards widower, revolutionary. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And I did like the line at the end where he goes, he understand what it's like to have one's love be illegal.
Right.
Yes.
It was
And he
still
does.
really tough. I want to be like, so what? They're in love. Go for it.
Right.
Yes.
I was totally on Claire's side when I'm like, okay, who cares? They're in love, so let them marry. It doesn't matter, especially, okay, like for me, and I mean, we come from cultured eras. I'm like, I grew up in Chicago. I'm like, nothing phased me. I wasn't phased by the different color of people's skin. I'm like, you are who you
I
are.
know.
No, but I feel like, yeah, you marry who you want if you're in love, whatever. But I get the point that John was saying about, it's illegal and, you could have repercussions down the road. But yeah, I would have been like, okay,
Well,
but
I grew up in Philadelphia,
yeah,
so I
so,
can be just,
very,
I can
yeah,
say just what you said, Kathy. I've seen it all, and I have no problem with anything like that.
right,
But I can't condone what Lord John said, um, but I understand why he said it.
right.
Um, you have to remember where they came from. These are
Hmm.
lords and almost royalty, dukes and everything
Yeah,
from England, and it's a big deal. When I
right.
think of uh, Sam Jamie at that what was it, High Clear? That
Hellwater.
Hellwater,
yeah,
yeah.
Hellwater.
yeah. Just let's see it. Just looked how those people lived and how they
Yeah,
looked down on everybody and what
it's
they.
a
So can you
lifestyle.
imagine?
Yeah,
And that's where Henry came from. One of those places,
Yeah.
right. So
So
you're kind of almost geared and brought up to
yeah,
act and
I can't condone what he did,
right.
but I understand this is
Mhm.
how he was raised. And he's saying because she's a revolutionary and because
She's a
she's
rebel. Yeah,
rebel. But the elephant in the room too was that she was, a person of color. That definitely has
right.
something to do with it too. He wouldn't admit it, but it definitely did. Could you
Yeah,
see if she went over there with him to this high, this castle or this big estate and
Well,
brought her? You can imagine the reaction.
John says
So.
that if he does go through it, he would lose his title and his future. And,
Hmm.
if he decides that that's what he wants to do, terrific. My thought
hmm,
was because, in the end, they'll be fine. Um, do,
yeah.
do you think that if he does go ahead and marry Mercy, um, that he would like disown him? I don't think John would ever like hold it against him if he made the decision. Do you know what I mean?
His family would probably. His
Yeah, I
Oh
think
family
yeah,
his
would
well
family
probably.
he'd
would,
lose his
but
title and such, but I mean, do you
yeah,
think
But
John
maybe
would
he
still
doesn't
be go
care.
visit him?
Yeah, yeah, he probably doesn't care. He can forge a new life with her in America. He
hmm,
might not even go back
Okay.
to England. And
yeah, and
Okay. All
I
right.
think John would still, see him in the light
yes.
that, yeah, he had a love for
Hmm.
this woman. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, but that would be the life ultimately that he chose then.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
So
And yeah, I think he'd be happy. I did you see that coming? I mean, she was taking care of him and Claire was sitting there and she says, I did this and I did that. She
Do
said
you know
everything
what?
that she did.
I
I didn't see.
suspected it. Yes, the last episode, she seemed a little more concerned than somebody who had who was visiting. I don't know how to put that.
yeah,
She.
He was just taking up visitor in her house.
I
Right.
think,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
you could definitely see it coming for
when you
sure.
look back, yes,
That's
I
right.
Yeah.
think looking back retrospectively, I think you could
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah, but
definitely.
but at that instant, when Claire said, "Well, did you do this and did you do that?" and she said, "Yes, I did this
Yep.
and I did," and I thought, "Boy, she's taking really good care of him," and
Awful
and
nice
then
of her.
yeah, now we know
Right.
why she loved him.
He knows a little bit too much about his bowel movements.
I don't know that much about my husband's. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
Right, right.
That's for sure. I
I don't
forgot
want to
about
know.
that part too. Yeah, that
That's
was
bad,
very
but
interesting.
yeah, yep.
And she knew there wasn't any blood in them or anything too.
Right.
That was amazing.
That's
Oh
just
my
funny.
God. Yeah, just by talking about this episode, there was so much,
Yeah,
It really
and
yeah,
was.
I
it
maybe
is.
maybe people didn't like that because they thought it was too much in there, but I enjoyed it. I like going from one thing to another, and we know these characters, we understand them. So the more they do, the happier I am, the more we see them, for
Right.
sure.
Well, I think I'm next to you coming up to William, Katie.
Coming up to 1 a.m. where you are? What'd you say?
To William. Are you coming up to William?
Well, I was going to come up to William. I was just going to make sure that we covered at least the basics on everything because we're digging
Right.
into some silly stuff. But yes, let's talk about our dear William. One, I
Yes.
do want to go back to the scene where he's talking to Lord John about why he's marrying Claire. I know we saw that clip, but I
Oh,
loved the
yeah.
very, very end. It was like a very, you are my happiness. That was really, I think, just an amazing line right there. I don't know if I'm quoting it exactly, but if there was ever a father son moment in this series that's just really pure, I really loved that.
When they hugged. When they
Yes,
hugged at the
yes.
very, and then look what happens. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All
In
right,
a
yeah.
few minutes. Yeah.
I was
Then
starting
look
us on
what
a happy
happens.
note. Come on, Diane.
Well, right, and I think in a sense he was ultimately saying too that he's so proud of William, and everything that he's become.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really think
Mm-hmm.
that was a super sweet moment.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh, that was a very, very touching moment. Very, very
Hmm.
touching. And then, oh my
Like,
goodness, what
whoosh! There goes
happened?
the rug right out from under you.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
I mean, to be
table and the
outside and just
vase
hear
and
him go, "Oh, your
everything.
son's gonna be here."
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, that was. Did we
And I
expect him?
think earlier on, I think Brianna had said it right that, when she told, I think it was when she was talking to Lord John, she's like, when I found out that Jamie was my father and Frank really wasn't, it was pretty devastating. And it's like, don't you think you want to tell him that?
Yes. Yeah.
Leave
And
it up to guys. No offense to guys, but leave it up to guys that they will wait until that moment. Then when they have to do something, that's when they're gonna do it, not before, or anything. It's gonna be at that moment when it happens, and here it is right in front of you.
now, who do you think William was angrier with, Lord John or with Jamie? I think he was angrier with Lord John. All the years that they've lived together, and he never mentioned it. Jamie, he never saw, so Jamie really didn't have the opportunity. But Lord John never told him, and I think he feels that he should have told him. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he certainly had opportunities, I feel like, to tell him, but again, it's a guy thing that they're like, why do we fix something that isn't broken unless we have to?
right.
So,
Yeah,
Well, and
but
and they
I mean,
had
and
to.
telling him takes away a good portion of his identity. Yes, I think there was a discussion about this in the comments once that he would never lose his title because legally he is the
so Lord
earlier
knows more.
lord's son.
Yeah,
Legally, doesn't
to
matter
be the
biology.
son.
They don't even
Yeah,
have DNA tests, blood tests. They aren't going to be able to
right.
tell.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
it's his identity. He is Lord Ellesmere, and
Mhm.
Hmm.
and
Right.
to
He's
find out
presented
that
himself as a certain person, this
yeah,
certain culture, the way he's been brought up, and to know that it's like, okay, here you are, you're kind of this bastard child from this guy. It's like, not
Yeah,
well,
really, he really doesn't know anything about him. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And what
well,
he's
he knows
really
his full
about.
name. I didn't
Yeah.
understand the entire introduction. I'm like, you know each other. Why is he acting like he doesn't know you? He knows he's been to your
yeah,
place. He knows your last name. It's all very silly to me. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was crazy. It really was. And then he handed him back was it the rosary beads or something he gave to
yes,
Right.
him
yes, the
at
one
that
that
time?
Ian had given him. Remember
Yes.
at the dismal, and Ian had given him the rosary to hold on to. And he'd said, "This is my uncle Jamie gave this to me."
Here. My Uncle Jamie gave this to me in a moment when I needed it most. It will give you strength.
And gave it to
Hmm.
him. So that's why he
Oh,
gave it back
okay.
because he knew
Yeah.
roundabout who everybody was by then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Diane,
Yeah.
you didn't read the book, but back when Jamie was at Hellwater and he was leaving, so in the book, Jamie was supposed to have given William the rosary then, but instead had given him the snake. I can't remember why they say they changed that out whatever, the rosary comes into play now, but
Yeah.
he was supposedly supposed to have given him the rosary then, and then
Oh,
he gave him the snake. I can't remember the reason why, um, but
they
ultimately it was
changed
supposed to
it.
kind of come around,
Well, they
So
changed the ring,
Jane,
and that upset everybody too. And usually, it's because they're
Yeah,
planning on doing something with it later in the
right,
story. They needed
right,
a
oh,
symbolic something for later,
yeah,
and I
I
think
see.
that's probably, as far as writing, why they changed it.
right,
What we
right.
read in a book is not always something they can show as easily on a television,
True.
so
Right,
they have
of
to
course.
play with it a little.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So that's what I see. I understand now. So gosh, we don't know what's going to happen now. Only the good Lord knows what's going to happen for sure. I mean, in the next episode, it
Yeah,
should
there's
be,
there's a lot still that's got to come up. I did want to touch
Mhm.
back really quick on, and let me just make sure I have the right Richardson, the Captain Richardson, if I'm remembering right.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
Him being a spy, or him being working for both sides. I'll just put it that way.
the rebel.
Uh,
Yeah.
did anybody see that one coming? And him trying to
No.
recruit Claire.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
interesting.
That
Well,
was
there's going to be
very
some
good.
more coming up about that. That if you haven't read the books,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Yeah.
I want to say it either, but
Well, I was
you'll
gonna
Yeah.
say
probably
Oh,
we're
I'm
find out.
sure.
introducing the idea of having Claire spy. She's kind of
Hmm.
got an in now, even though her husband's back. I mean, we're gonna see more spying, is what I'm thinking.
Well, she turned him down. She said, no, I don't want any
Sure,
part of it.
she had other things on her
Yeah.
mind, though. She doesn't have those
At
things
that
on her
time.
mind.
Yeah, at that particular time, she, turned him down. But, and then
For
he said, well,
now.
don't tattle. Then I like the way he said, well, don't tattle on me, And
Yeah.
she said, I won't.
Yeah.
Mm,
That
But
was good.
so at the end, they took Jamie, the
Mm-hmm.
redcoats, the
Yep,
British, they took Jamie. And she's
they
standing
did.
there smiling because she's just so happy he's back. I just love that. Yeah, definitely. That
Yes,
was something.
that
Yeah.
was
All,
good.
all,
Like,
all that action happened all at once. It was great.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
did enjoy I did enjoy two things. One, when she kisses Jamie and she goes, "There it is, my blood," and that was sweet. Blood of my blood. There it is.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
also love that
Yeah.
Jamie is threatening Lord John to escape. And she's all good with it. Like you said, her smile. But that one too is like, all right, I'm gonna take this guy.
It's like
Because
my only way out.
Yeah,
he,
yeah, yeah.
he still he still has a lot to know about their relationship. Jamie
That's gonna
doesn't
be a
know
fun
what
one.
happened, and I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to tell him. And yeah, something's going to happen. I'm sure.
What do
Yeah.
you think his reaction is going to be, Diane? Just out of curiosity, I'm not going to ask you, Kathy. You already know. Diane, what do you think his reaction is going to be when David goes, or yeah, when Lord John goes, so I married your wife and we consummated things. What's your
But
opinion?
we weren't making love to each other. We were making love to you.
You
I'm
just
sure
forgot to
that's
be
going to
there.
go over really big. You know, I I don't know. I think he's going to be angry. I assume. I don't know what's going to happen. He has to put himself in their place. You know what I mean? He has
Yep, yep.
to see how they felt, and they thought he was dead. And let's not forget, he had some little trysts when he wasn't with Claire. He thought he was never going to see Claire again. I mean, he didn't know if she was dead, but he never expected to see her. So he really can't, get that angry about it. But he might think that Lord John took advantage of the situation a little bit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He,
Yeah.
yeah. But, the love that the three of them have there for each other, it's not all carnal love, it's
No.
brotherly love, and
Yeah.
it's just loving each other as people, as friends, friendship, so I don't
And
think
we're
Jamie's going to get that upset, will he? I'm not sure. That's
I,
one of the things I have to look forward to, right?
I honestly don't remember, but I don't think he's going to be like super mad for very long. The difference
Is that
being that
where Lord
one,
John gets the eye? She has to fix his eye. Is that from Jamie? Oh, okay. All right.
We don't know
Be
nothing.
patient, Diane. Be patient. I have to be patient for sure.
We shall
Oh boy.
see. But let's just
Yes.
say, Jamie has anger issues.
Anger
Yeah.
issue. That's
He does.
fair. Well, he does
Yeah.
have
He does.
anger issues. We've seen that.
He acts before he
Hmm.
thinks. Sometimes he acts
Yeah.
before he thinks.
He's
But that's why
very
we love him.
emotional.
That's why we
Yeah,
love
yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
He's an emotional fella. He's
And
passionate.
if I may ask, is the last episode going to be a surprise? Is it going to be a twist? Does anybody know? Is it
We've
going?
heard there's going to be an interesting ending.
Okay, which we
Yeah.
always expect from Outlander, but sometimes it's not always that way. It's kind of predictable and everything. But this might have I'm just wondering. I love it. I love
Well, no.
thinking
Here's the
about
thing.
it
They're
and
they're putting
expecting
a
it and
couple.
anticipating it.
Yeah, they're putting the information of what, three different books in
Bring
probably
it all
just
in
this
there.
last half. And
Hmm.
so
Oh.
where it ends and which storyline they ended some storylines very quickly and abruptly and ahead of time last season. So it's
Hmm.
really hard to predict what may end sooner than we expect, what may be dragged
Yeah.
out longer just to help tell a certain other story. Um,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
your guess is as good as mine, really.
Okay.
But
So,
then I also think there has to be some stuff that's going to lead into next season too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
mm-hmm.
Some
Mm-hmm.
stuff, yeah, because there's a whole other season, and they have to cover about two books worth of information minimum in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
And I always find
sorry,
it
just kidding.
fascinating that Meryl said that they thought this might be the last episode too.
Hmm.
I always found that fascinating too. They were just going to end the whole thing, you know?
Hmm.
Mm,
So
well,
I just wonder when they decided that there would be a season 8. I think they knew that they couldn't maybe end it in season 7. They had to have a better closing,
if you look at
That,
my old videos, I'm sure we could find when we found out that they were going to continue season 8. Because I remember reporting season 7 could be the last one, and then I
Hmm.
remember
Mhm.
reporting, up we are going to get an 8th season, but that will be the final season, and everybody was like,
Right.
"No, they can't do that. There's two more books." Anyway, so yeah, more than a year ago, year and a half ago ish, because
Well,
I
I've
Well,
kind
only
of
been
went
following. I've only
not
been
even a year,
following you for not even a year yet, so it was somewhere over the summer, I think, or something. I
okay, okay.
think,
Yeah, that sounds right. Actually, yeah. Not
yeah,
this
that
past
they
summer,
said that the
last
season
summer.
8 was coming, and then they were all hop to go. So,
I
Yeah.
guess that's when they decided, they
right,
decided there was going to be a season 8 then at that
I
yeah,
told
time.
you as soon as they told us. So that's
Yeah.
all I can tell you now.
Yeah. And I don't think
Well,
they knew beforehand too. I think when they knew, they told everybody quickly.
yeah.
They
hmm,
had no idea what they were going to do, the writers and everything, and the showrunners too, for that matter,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So when it comes to this episode, ladies, you know my scale 1 to 5. One, you've watched it because you had to, because it's Outlander, and 5 being you watched it 7 times already, and you're probably gonna watch it another 7. What are we giving
I
this one?
yeah, I would say a 5 for sure, and I've already watched it 5 times.
You
That
have?
counts. That
My
counts.
God.
Yeah,
So, Kathy, you can act in it then, I guess. You can be in
yeah,
it.
yeah,
The
exactly.
dialogue and everything.
Pretty
Um,
much,
I,
pretty much.
I just loved it. I give it a 5 because there was so much going on. I love shows when everything is going on like that. So many things, so many characters, so much great acting. I
Yeah.
just loved it. Oh God, it seems like each episode's getting better and better. I hope it continues that
Yes.
way. I
Yeah, and
really
I
do.
wonder if now, because they knew that season 8 was going to be coming, if they're going to kind of slow things down a little bit going into
It's
this last
possible.
half of
Yeah.
these
It's
episodes.
possible. Seems, yeah, they have to explain everything and make everything work together and everything. So there might be some slowdown on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah.
Um, and I just want to say one other thing, and this isn't about the show; it's about Sam. I
Sure.
love Sam too, and we were watching Stars, and we were going to watch the episode. And I thought that there was a show called A Princess for Christmas. Do you know what
I've
I'm going to
seen it.
say?
Yeah.
So I said to my friends, now, I don't know if you're going to like this, but Sam Heughan's in it. And I said, and Roger Moore's in it. And I said, do you want to watch it? So we watched it and they loved it.
It
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
cute.
And my friend goes, how old is Sam in that? 17?
I think he's like 24, 25.
I
I
think,
forget. I
yeah.
don't
No.
remember.
Well, it was made in 2011 and he was born in 80. So he's like
yeah, he was only
30.
30 in
Yeah.
there. Okay.
He certainly didn't look it, let me
No.
tell you.
No, he looks
But
about
we got a
Yeah.
big
17.
Yeah, we got
He
a.
was
Oh, they
super
got a big kick
adorable.
out of it. They were so happy that I had never seen it either, and I didn't think they would like it. They said, yeah, let's watch it. We'll get in the Christmas spirit, and
It
because
was
it was
cute.
about Christmas, and
Yeah, it
we
was
just
really
got the
cute.
biggest kick out of that.
I
So
got some
we had
pins.
our Sam. Yeah, we had our Sam fix that night. Let me
Right.
tell you.
So there's
We sure
another movie, and my husband knows I'm obsessed too. And we were gonna watch a movie. There was like nothing on TV, and I'm like, well, let's watch this movie. It looks pretty good. It was called, it's one of his movies. It's SAS Red Notice,
I watched
and
that twice already.
yeah, and
Yep,
he's
me
he's like,
too.
okay, he watched the trailer. He's like, he looks pretty good. He's like, he saw Sam. He's like, oh yeah, now I know why we're watching this. But it really
It
was a really good movie. And he's like,
was.
man, this movie
Yeah.
could have a sequel. But I heard
Yeah.
that there wasn't going to be a sequel.
And
So
wait till we can watch The Couple Next Door.
yeah, I'm excited
That's
for that.
gonna
And I
be
know, Katie, you've seen it. I could never get the VPN to work, but to try and get it. But I'm like, I'll just wait.
well, it's gonna be on Stars the end of January, I think.
Yeah.
And
The
Katie, how did you
17th, I
see it?
think. Can't
Yeah,
tell you.
how were you
But
able to see it?
can't tell you.
She can't
Can't
tell
tell
me.
you. Sorry. I'm sworn to
Okay,
secrecy. I can't tell you.
okay.
Well, see, and I'll be watching that too because my husband is working in Vegas now for the month, and when he comes home, he's going to be in a sleep coma. So I'll get to watch like all these shows
Yeah,
until he wakes up, and then
yeah. So
probably around the end of January sometime.
I told my friends, I said, we have to watch that. And my friend goes, oh my God. She says, I have to keep the stars on all the time. She always wants to cancel. And she says, every time you tell me that Sam's on something. So she says, now I have to keep it longer, she said,
Right?
So we were laughing. But now, Katie, you weren't crazy about it. I remember you saying you weren't crazy
It's.
about Couple Next Door.
I think Sam did a very good job in the part he played. I think all the actors did a good job. The type of show it was itself isn't my cup of tea. That's all. But
But
it's well
was it
written,
good?
well acted.
Hmm.
But it wasn't my. Yeah, it's just not. It's not
And
my thing.
wasn't Sam something else? And wasn't Sam something else in it? Wasn't he really something in it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's some scenes. There's
There's
some
a theme.
scenes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go find that so I can put a clip here of there's some scenes.
It
You don't
Yeah.
want
seems
children in the room when you're watching some of these
it
scenes. But
seems
anyway,
to me like you're imagining everything right now while
I'm
you're
just
talking
remembering.
to
I'm not imagining. I'm remembering.
us.
I'm having my Jane face now, or my Jan face now. Sam.
Oh
Any-
boy, something else
yeah.
to look forward to.
Yep. Most
Dreary
definitely.
January.
Yeah, absolutely. Because come January, there's not going to be much on TV. So
Well, no,
I mean, I
actually,
like to
I
watch a
watched
lot of
Star
other
Trek, and there's a new
shows.
Star Trek show in January too. So.
Oh yeah, see,
Yeah,
And
because
my birthday
Outlander
is
will.
in January.
Oh, good. Happy birthday.
I'll be 50.
oh
Oh
my
my God,
gosh,
the big 50. Wow.
that's it.
Oh boy.
AARP, here I come. Um,
Yeah,
Oh yes, that's right. You can get the magazine now.
you're right.
super expensive and super. I'm sorry, but not super expensive. Super excited to get my AARP magazine
Hey,
and
I'll
10%
tell you, it's not a
discounted
bad
at a restaurant.
magazine. It's not a bad magazine. It really isn't. You'll learn a lot.
No, it's
It's
fine.
really not, and you get some discounts. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, and
good
you
for
learn
that. I
about
love a
pop
good
culture.
coupon.
Yeah, and you'll learn about pop culture and everything.
I have a
Matter of fact, you'll learn
9-year-old
when
for that.
you'll learn when all the movie stars turn 50, 60, 70, and 80.
It's kind of like if you know the old people's magazine Reader's Digest, it's kind of like what it is. It's
Yeah, I
kind
know
of
that
like
old
that,
people magazine.
Yeah,
right?
that was it. Yeah,
It's kind of just like that. So
I know it because
it can
I'm
be
50.
informative, but
oh, that's funny.
I reminded my parents of that at Thanksgiving. I was like, I just want to remind you that your oldest daughter is going to be 50 next month. And my dad went, No, are you really? It's just like, yeah, that's all
How
right.
does that make you feel, right?
yeah,
How does
Just want
that
to
make
make
you
him feel
feel?
old. I'm
Yeah.
fine about it.
right, yeah.
Good.
Oh, that's funny. That's very funny.
Well, the good thing is, it seems like none of us act our ages, so it's all a good thing.
No, it's
And I
all in your
never have,
mind.
so it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, same.
it's all in your mind. It's not your body. It's all in your
Other than
mind.
the
I
fact that
say.
I have a knee replacement, but now that I'm back in full swing, I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm back to being like 28, maybe.
Kathy, I have had 2 knee replacements. I'm
Yeah,
ahead of you.
right. So, hey, once you get your life back, then it's like, you can do anything. So,
Yeah,
That's
if you can get
fantastic.
up and move, that's the
yep,
greatest thing. And always be interested in life. Always,
yep.
always. My kid, my kids laugh at me that I love Outlander and I talk about Sam Heughan. And I said to them, I said I don't know if I said this to you, but I said when I come over your house for dinner and I bring him with me, I said then who will have the last laugh? I always tell them
Right. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So my
Oh,
daughter said, "Well, okay." She said, "I'll be waiting for that then."
All
oh, that's
right, then.
great. That's
Well, I just
great.
want to thank you guys before we get cut off because I think I have just a couple of minutes. Yeah, I just have
That's
2 minutes left. So, I would just want to thank you guys so much for coming on again.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I love it.
yeah, it was
I love
fun.
it.
Let me know when you want to again, and I will put you in row. But like I said, I try to be fair and give people a chance
Of
so that
course.
it's not the same
Yeah,
person every
absolutely.
time. And
Totally
Hmm.
understand. Yeah.
you ladies, I promise, I appreciate it so much.
It's a bummer the other girls didn't come on, but hey, that's all. It's all good. They'll get another
Yeah,
chance. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's several more episodes.
Yes, yes, and yeah, definitely. I would love to come on, but it's only fair to let everybody,
yeah,
who wants to
definitely.
come on, have a say. And I love to
Hmm.
listen to what people have to say.
Yep.
I'd let
I
everybody come if my laptop would probably explode.
Right. Oh
yeah,
yeah, that'd be fun to have a few more people on, but
yeah,
it's all good with
exactly.
just a few.
Yeah. Oh, I would love it. I'd love to hear
Well,
everybody's perspective.
and hopefully we'll be hearing from Sam towards the end of this week with his updates from his mountain adventures. So,
Yeah,
Yes, that'll
yeah,
be very cool.
yeah.
yeah,
There were, and
I'm
apparently it
interested to
wasn't
see if
just,
he'll have a full beard.
yeah, and it wasn't just a hike. He did many things there. He was
Yep.
all over the place there. They were honoring him and having
Looks
all
like a
kind of,
cool adventure.
yeah. So good for him. He's
Yeah,
living his best life, as I said. I think I wrote to
right,
you, Katie. Yeah, good for him, and he's got the money to do it. So,
right.
you know.
Do it while you can.
And he's still
Well,
looking for somebody, probably the one. So he's going all over the world trying to find somebody.
You never
well, I
know.
wish him
Yeah,
luck, so much luck, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna say goodbye again to you guys because it's gonna cut us off
Okay.
here in just a few seconds. Thanks so much for joining me on this chat. This was a great time. I enjoyed talking to both ladies. I am sorry that the one that I had expected to be able to show up didn't come. I'm sure that she just didn't get the message early enough. These things do happen. Also, Jackie, I tried to invite you as a backup, and unfortunately, it was very short notice. So don't worry, your name is still on the list for next week's. If you'd like to join Jackie again, just remember to email me. I do believe I already have one other spot filled. So just looking for one other commenter for next week's episode 712. Thanks again. And don't forget, if you like this video, like it and then subscribe to the channel so you'll know when the next one comes out. I am reviewing every episode with you, and I really am enjoying these talks. So keep letting me know if you'd like to join, and we'll make sure you get a chance. I'll do my best to make sure everybody gets a chance up until the very end. And if you want more Outlander information, you can always check out Waiting for Outlander Season 7 Part 2 playlist that I've got all set up with all the videos that I've done while we were waiting for this second half to start. And remember, no matter what video you choose from that list, I'll see you there.